Hey guys, welcome back to yet another stream. It's been a busy week, and I am joined by Conn. You might know him by Conn CFC on Twitter, and I just really wanted somebody that I knew that I could have a good time with and just chat football and kind of like calm my nerves a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, I've been extremely nervous for the past like 3 days already. So Conn, thanks so much for joining me. How's it going?
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. Long time no talk, so it's nice to catch up and maybe getting the right person on to calm your nerves isn't probably me because I'm as nervous as you, don't worry. But I'm sure we can have a great conversation anyway.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Guys, if you have any questions, like this is not going to be as structured as my like interviews with Abby and with Mike. So like we're just here to chat Chelsea, chat football. So if you have any questions, just ask it and I'll try to get to as many questions as possible. So Conn, like how are you feeling about this Champions League final? Like, do you feel any more nervous given Chelsea's recent form? Or are you kind of like, it's a one-off, when it's the Champions League final, we're going to show up?
Nah, I'm nervous as hell, man. I can't lie. Today, it really hit me, I know like all week we've all been a bit like anxious about it, but like today I've been horrible. Like I've just been watching old Chelsea clips of the Bayern, the Barcelona, and I'm really nervous. I can't lie to you. I feel like, the day before Christmas Eve, when I was a kid, it's kind of how I feel. So yeah, I'm a bit all over the place. How about yourself?
Oh man, I tell you, like I get super anxious ahead of like really big Chelsea games, and my heart is racing. It's been like uneasy the entire day, yesterday as well, and like I don't, for anybody like who's watching, like I didn't experience this because I started supporting Chelsea the year after we won the Champions League. So I wasn't there for the first Champions League final, which absolutely blows, but it's also my first time going through these emotions ever of Chelsea making it to a Champions League final, because when I started supporting Chelsea, we really haven't gotten past like the round of 16 and maybe the round of 8 once or something, so we really haven't made it far in the years that I've been supporting Chelsea. So I'm extremely nervous for this game, especially because it's against Man City. I was like, oh, it had to be against Man City. Like, do you think that the fact that we've already beaten them twice plays to our advantage, or does it make you even more nervous because maybe they want to come back and like really get us?
To be honest, I have no idea because one part of my head tells me we've beaten twice, like recently, but then my other part tells me that Pep's not going to get beaten 3 times in a row. So I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's a bit reassuring knowing that we can beat them, that we've seen it. But at the same time, it wasn't City's strongest squad, etc., etc. So it's Manchester City. I would have rather, probably besides Bayern, probably anyone else but City.
I know. I really was hoping for PSG, not just because, I know that we faced them recently, but I feel like that would have been almost more like calming, because if we lose, I'm like, well, it's PSG, but if we lose to City, that almost makes me feel worse in a way. Like, I don't know why I can't describe it, but I really don't want to freaking lose to Manchester City at all. So like, I think going into the final, I was feeling okay up until the Arsenal game. And the Arsenal game, I feel like, has just been a changing point, because I don't know, like I felt like we were going to have a blip in form at some point, and then I was like, okay, it makes sense that it's against Arsenal. But then we're also seeing like not great performances versus Leicester in the FA Cup final. Then we come back and we have a really great performance against Leicester in the Premier League, and then we play a shocking game against Aston Villa in a game that we need to win. So what do you think the reason is for this? Like, do you think it's like mental? Maybe the players are just checking out. Maybe it's fatigue. And do you think that should make us anything to be nervous about, that we've lost 3 in our last 4 games? Like, really not great form going into this final.
Shout out to Arsenal, always doing Chelsea a service this season. Beat us twice. I don't know. I think that Arsenal game, we had such a high of beating Madrid in that second leg that it was kind of a low, and we weren't really focused. But then the loss against Leicester and then the loss against Villa, it does play in your mind, and Villa, we needed to win. Yeah. And you think after the Leicester performance, the second one where we actually beat them, you thought, we're up for this. But see, that's the thing with Chelsea. It's like we're not straightforward. this club always has to make us go that extra bit of worry, you know? It's a roller coaster of emotions. So I feel for my fellow Chelsea fans here, but
Yeah, I definitely feel. I just feel like which Chelsea side is going to show up tomorrow? Is it going to be the one that bossed Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, or the one that lost Aston Villa? Like, I can only hope that they show up, but I feel like that is like still something that this Chelsea side needs to work on. Maybe like we're a younger side as well, and I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic, but honestly, I'm just a bucket of nerves, you guys, and I'm trying my very best. But I'm a fan too, and I'm just really freaking nervous. So Adil said that Gundogan is injured. I haven't seen any news yet, but I'll just take your word for it. But honestly, like that doesn't even make me feel any better because they literally have like their entire bench could be starters. So I really don't think that it's like that big. So like talking about starting 11, I want to start in the back and then kind of like build our way forward. So I think we can both agree that Mendy starts. Hopefully he's fit enough to start. I haven't seen anything to say otherwise, that they traveled, him and Conte traveled, and they've been training. So who starts in that back four or back five rather for you?
see, this is a tricky one for me because I'm not entirely sure. I think what Tuchel might go with would be Thiago Silva, Rudiger left centre back, Reece James maybe right centre back, Asby right wing back, and Chilwell left wing back.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm between like I'm between who starts between Reese and Christensen. And guys, I want to know in the comments who you think, because I spoke to Mike Ryan Ruiz about this, and he basically said like that he thinks, or he wants Christensen to start because he feels that he's been really strong. But Christensen really hasn't played that many games, and perhaps we're seeing that experiment with Aspilicueta as a right wing back and Reese as a right center back, like you said, in preparation for this Champions League game. So I really never know which way it's going to go. And I wouldn't have any reasons for starting one versus the other. Really, I think like Christensen provides maybe more passing outlet in the back if you want to play out of the back. But I don't know. Do you think that there's any chance of seeing Christensen start tomorrow, or probably not?
With Thomas Tuchel, anyone can start, you know. Trying to guess this guy's lineup is near impossible at times. See, I was thinking the same issue. I feel like Christensen, he gives us that better passing option from the back, but he just hasn't played at all in the last month. Yeah. So I don't know. It's honestly, I really have no idea if it's going to be Christensen or Reece James. Maybe it is Christensen, but you got to remember what game Christensen got injured in, and that was Man City. So
yeah, it's crazy. I tell you, I have only guessed a Tuchel starting lineup twice in the 4 months that he's been in charge. Under Lampard, I was getting it like so spot on, and now I can't guess it. He is always surprising. Like watch somebody completely random just be starting, and us have no idea. So I think we're probably leaning towards having Reese in there instead of Christensen, given that Christensen hasn't played that much. So now I have a really interesting, this is something that I've been thinking about. Who do you start in that pivot? And kind of the point that I've been thinking about is that we know Jorginho is like our main penalty taker. So we probably want to have him on the pitch, but then I'm also thinking, like, imagine this game is tied and it goes to penalties after extra overtime. You probably want Jorginho taking the penalties as well. So do you start him and risk him being like potentially like really fatigued by the end of 120 minutes, or do you bring him on and start like a Conte and Kovacic together?
I think I go with J5 to start. I think J5 has really proved to us that, I don't know, like he's played a lot of games. So I think he's got that fitness to do 120 minutes. Hopefully we can get the job done inside that. But I'm not too optimistic about that, honestly. So I'd start him and Nagolo because Kovacic hasn't really impressed me. Like, yeah. I think he's still a bit rusty.
Yeah, he's been looking really rusty. Like, I felt like he's been okay, and I can't, like, criticize him too much because it had been I think it had been like a month and a half since he had played. But he gave the ball away quite a bit. I think like even one or maybe two times it led to goals. So I do agree with you that I think like you have to play your starting team and hopefully like your team to win it, and then you kind of go from there. So I would also play even a half fit Conte. I think is still, a fully fit Conte is like two players. So half fit Conte is just like a normal player.
Yeah, so true. And I think if we go back to the Madrid game, how good Nagolo was there as well. If we can have that Nagolo against City, we're going to give him a really good game.
I know. I think that he could be the key for this Chelsea side. Steven or Stefan says J5 should be on the bench. And then anyone says J5 is starting. And Dion says, Conn, what's up, man?
Oh, nothing much. Just a Champions League final to watch tomorrow.
I was like, I'm too nervous for this. Like, I was nervous against Atletico in the round of 16. And I was like, how am I going to make it if we get to a final? And then here we are in a final. And I'm super excited about the final, but I'm also like mentally preparing myself for either way.
It's hard. It's definitely hard.
Thomas Tuchel is going now. I had no idea. Like I scheduled this a week ago, you guys. Like I did not know that Thomas Tuchel's presser was going to be now. Anyway, says I hope Gilmore will play if we have to play 120 minutes. It could be a really good shout. Honestly, like I feel like he's looked pretty in place and I think he plays a lot more maturely than his age suggests. So I would feel comfortable with Gilmore coming on, I think. But are you going to see him in a Champions League final? I don't know. But what do you think, Conn?
There's 120 minutes and 5 subs, so it could be a possibility. But if anyone's going to come on, I feel like it'd be Cover.
Yeah.
It made more sense. But who knows, J5 might get injured early, Cover has to come on, and then Gilmore brought on in the 150 minutes.
Never know. You never know. So I think we can both agree, like going back to the starting 11, I think we can both agree that Mason Mount has to start.
Yes.
You agree? Yeah. Okay, good. Otherwise we're gonna have some problems. No. But obviously I think we're the two biggest Pulisic fans on Chelsea Twitter, like us two. But does he start for you in this game?
Yeah, he does.
Ooh,
I was on Notice's stream last night, and even though he hasn't looked up to scratch lately, right? I made the mistake before saying I don't think he should have started against Leicester because he looked poor against Arsenal. But I think if there's one Chelsea attacker, probably besides Mount, who you feel can win you a game, I think it's Pulisic, and just for that reason, he has to start.
Interesting. So Sean is saying Pulisic to come on and score. Anyone says Pulisic is way better as a super sub. I don't think he's like necessarily always better as a super sub, because I think he's an incredible player, but I just feel like he's been lacking some consistency. And like he'll have an incredible game, and you're like, yes, this is post restart Pulisic, and then he'll have another game where he kind of just looks like lost and doesn't get many touches to the ball. So I don't know. I mean, it is a long game. You have 90, potentially 120 minutes. And he could be a really good asset to bring on to the team, like to bring onto the field if like the City defenders are getting tired and you just want somebody who's going to run at you and maybe be a game changer. But I don't know who starts beside Pulisic then for you.
So I'd have Pulisic on the left, and I'd start Werner up top.
Interesting. Why is that?
Just because every time Werner plays against City, they play a high line, and he looks great against high lines. And the way he gets in behind, he never stops running. I think Tuchel will 100% start Werner tomorrow. Even though it'd be nice to see Kai, but I think Werner definitely starts.
Yeah. For me, like my front two is Werner and Kai. I don't think Pulisic is going to start. Obviously I would be super happy, and like to have an American in the Champions League final is just like mind blowing. So I'm really like happy with whoever starts in this game, but I feel like Kai has looked a little bit stronger recently. Maybe could link up with Timo. I really freaking hope that Timo has a good game. Like my heart cannot take him having another goal ruled offside. Like I really cannot take it.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both, honestly. The Champions League final, we can't allow that. Please
No,
don't do it to us.
we can't. I can't. Like it's so sad because I don't even celebrate the goals anymore unless it's like so freaking obvious that it's a goal, because I just never know if it's going to be ruled offside for like an armpit hair, and it's just like totally taking the buzz out of it for me.
No, yeah, I agree. I think the Leicester game was a great example of that. Do you know when Rudiger scored? I didn't celebrate, so I thought it would have hit his hand or something. And
Yeah,
then when it actually like scored, I was like, yeah, kind of
yeah,
thing.
like, oh, we have a goal now. That's great, Dion says, I feel Ziyech should start. And this is also an interesting shout because like Hakeem Ziyech has not been playing that many games for Chelsea, but I do feel like he's been playing like a lot of bigger games and he's been scoring in them. But I also feel like he could I also feel him a bit of like a frustrating player because like he'll try to calibrate a pass and it'll just be like too short or too long, or maybe somebody doesn't make the run, and I don't know if he necessarily has like that chemistry with his teammates yet, and he could potentially be a game changer and score the winner. We've seen that him and Timo link up pretty well, but he really hasn't played that much. Do you start him in the Champions League final? I don't know. I think personally we probably will see him off the bench. What about you?
Do you know, that's a funny thing. Do you know people always say about Pulley being a good super sub? But if you actually look at CX stats, see how many chances he's actually created off the bench. I think because they don't go in, people don't really realise. But he actually comes off the bench and creates a lot, so he could be a good super sub too.
Yeah.
I don't think he starts. I don't, especially after that Leicester final. But a good option off the bench.
I agree. Oh man, the more we talk about this, the more nervous I'm getting. Steven says, I would love to see a front three of Pulisic, Giroud, and Ziyech or Hudson-Odoi. I personally don't see this happening. One, because that means you're benching Mason Mount, which I don't think is going to be happening in a Champions League final, like your player of this season. Two, we've kind of talked about it. City play a high line, so you need a player who's going to be able to take advantage of pace to get in behind the high line. And Giroud isn't really that. Like maybe if you're winning and want to. I don't like maybe if you're winning and want to hold up the ball or something, you bring him on, but I don't personally see him starting. And then I don't see Hudson-Odoi has barely gotten minutes under Tuchel, so I don't see him starting either. What do you think, Conn?
No, you're spot on there. I don't see Giroud getting in behind City's defence, like a Ferner would. And I think it'd be incredibly naive to start as Giroud expecting to have possession against the City side. I just don't see that happening at all.
Giroud with the 88-minute winner vibes. Yeah. Lewis says Pulisic impacts could totally be. Prince Henry says, should Christensen start? We kind of talked about this. I think that we both kind of agree that we don't necessarily see him starting just because he hasn't been playing all that much. And I think that maybe we're testing this Azpilicueta right wing back, Reece set right center back potentially for this very game. Like you're not going to just throw them into it in the Champions League final. You're going to want to give them like some time to get adjusted to the position. So we could perfectly see that as well to try to deal with City's attack. Oh man. So it says I'm breaking it. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, there's just like a lot of debate in the comments. It seems like everybody has a different starting attack, which I think just speaks to like how many options there are and how we're just so unsure of what the potential, like what the best starting 11 really is. Like I really don't have any idea what Chelsea's out and out best starting 11 is. I couldn't tell you, and I don't envy Thomas Tuchel having to make that decision at all. Like that is why he is the manager. We have a really good question from HN Yadav, and he says, "Who will be the game changer for Chelsea tomorrow?" So, who do you think is going to be Chelsea's most important player?
I think you know me, and I think you know what I'm going to say.
I know. If he starts, well, maybe off the bench. But go ahead, go on.
Chelsea's number 10, Christian Pulisic, 100%.
Christian. For me, I think it's going to be N'Golo Kante. I think he will be fit to start, hopefully. But I just feel like in the past couple of games, we haven't been playing with Kante because he's been injured or like preventing his injury that he could have potentially gotten had he not come off the pitch. And I think that he just makes a world of a difference in the defense, but also going forward, like I think like his link up play has gotten a lot better and he really drives the ball really well. And I don't remember which game it was. I'm like absolutely terrible for remembering these things, but there was one game where I think he was like the pre-assist or like he initiated the attack for both goals that we had scored. It was recently, but do you remember? I don't know. I have it like pictured in my mind, but I don't know who it was against.
Real Madrid.
It was against Madrid. Yeah, probably.
I think he passed the ball to Kai. Kai hit the crossbar, found the score.
Yes, it was Madrid. It was Madrid. Oh my God, I'm so bad at remembering this. You guys. I'm terrible for that. So I do think that it's going to be N'Golo Kante for me.
No, that's a good shout because I literally just said like 5 minutes ago about N'Golo's performance against Madrid. So I didn't even think about that. I was thinking with my heart and not my head.
I love Pulisic as well. You know this. People tell me that I support Chelsea because of Pulisic, and I'm like, obviously that's not true. But, yeah. Rome says Jorginho is Chelsea's most important player. Depending on how he plays, we're either relegation fodder or world class. Let's hope that he has a good game then. Really, as with Tuchel, we're starting James in a center back position. What do you think? I don't see why not. Like if it's in the right center back position that he's been playing in, honestly, I don't know, Conn, maybe you can help me with this. Like I don't really see that much benefit of playing Reece as a right center back compared to a right wing back. Like I personally prefer him in the right wing back role, but I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think there's any benefit to it?
I think it's because I think Tuchel said that it offers like more defensive stability with Azpilicueta at right wing back, which I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I prefer Reece, like you, as the wing back because he's got a better delivery. He's a bit quicker, stronger, got more legs. But Azpi ain't done a bad job there either, to be honest. If we think about it, I don't think he's done too bad there at all. So I trust the Tuchel.
Yeah. I think, like, I'm just thinking out loud here, but perhaps it could be, like, because Ben Chilwell goes very forward, so maybe you want to try to, like, balance out the sides so you're not, like, so exposed on both sides or something. So you have, like, one that is more defensive in Aspie and then one that goes more forward in Ben Chilwell. That's just an idea. I don't know.
But that makes perfect sense, actually, because when we had Sarri, when we played the back four, we had Alonso who went up very high, and then we had Azpilicueta who stayed a bit further back. So it's something the players are used to too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The press conference has been in a few minutes for like 10 minutes now. Well, guys, obviously we're not going to be watching. We're going to be chatting here. But like if you guys are watching and Tuchel says anything interesting, then definitely let me know. We're getting like still so many questions about the starring XI. So let's just like go through it and rename for everybody who's Conn, who is your starting 11 for the Champions League final, so everybody can know?
So Mendy, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Chilwell, Jorginho, N'Golo, Pully, Werner, and Mason Mount.
Cool. Mine is literally the exact same, but I would have Havertz in for Pulisic, as shocking as that might be for some people. Um, so, so let's see about that. Um, so, like, do you see Chelsea scoring in this game? Like, what do you think we need to do to win this game? Because I am scared about us wasting chances again. Like, I can't take it. We create so much, but we just don't convert our chances. And I don't know what we need to do to start scoring goals.
Yeah, I'm the same. Every game we go into, I'm like, how are we going to score this game then? I think we can keep City out. Like, we could probably concede that one, but I'm confident in our defence. We've proved that. I'm confident in midfield if Nagolo's there. But that front three, I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all. I never am. Um,
I'm scared if City score first because I feel like recently we really have not done well coming back from losing positions. Like we obviously did it against Man City in the league, but we also scored at the very last second. So like I really feel like we cannot concede first because that's going to be such an uphill battle against this Man City side. And we need to be, I say this every single match preview, that we need to be clinical, that we need to take our chances. But somehow, like, I don't know if the players are just overthinking it or if it's like a lot of pressure, but they are really missing a lot of chances.
yeah, no, you're spot on there. Werner, please, like just for one day, just put the shooting boots back on. I beg, please. You will do us a great service. Like I guarantee you, if Werner scores like a brace tomorrow, everybody forgets about every single sitter he missed this season. It all goes out the window.
1,000%, 1,000%.
He gets
Like,
the Torres treatment.
A hero. Oh man, I'm gonna throw up over this game. So like, how do you think it's going to go down? Do you think that we're gonna close out in 90 minutes? Do you think we're gonna see it go to extra overtime? How are you feeling?
I think there's a good possibility it goes to extra time. To be honest, I think there's certainly a possibility where both teams cancel each other out. My heart's not gonna be able to take that, man. It's really not. But I could see it go. I could see City just turning up and smashing us. I could see us just hurting them so badly on the counter. Every possibility that could happen, I'm pretty sure I thought of in the last day.
I know. I totally feel you. And like Mike made a good point on my stream on Wednesday. He said like City have struggled with penalties this season. Like I don't want to see it go to penalty shootout, but if it did, we could potentially be at an advantage because they've been changing their penalty takers literally the entire season because they keep missing. What do you think?
Um, well, we know we've got like one good penalty taker in Jorginho, but tell me, if you see Timo Werner stepping up for a penalty, are you going to be confident?
Yeah, it's true. He scored two really good penalties, but I could just see him like getting in his head, and I don't want him to get in his head. Yeah, that would just be. It would just be like I feel like it could be worse to lose off of penalties than just losing by goals. Because
No, for real, for real. If we lost like 2-3-0 in game, fair, City were just a better team. But if we lose on pens, I'm gonna cry. I already watched one penalty shootout we lost against Manchester United. Please don't do it against City as well.
oh my god. So if it goes to pens, who are your penalty, like your 5 penalty takers?
Oh, I hate this question so much. But if I had to pick, it would be Jorginho, Kai, Pulley, Mount, and Asby.
Nice. My friend, well, you probably know him as well, Dan McCarthy, posted this on Twitter, and he had Reese in there, and I said I would put Aspie in for Reese because I actually think that Aspie is quite a good penalty taker. So I'm really glad that you said Aspie. Who would you guys put in? Like, let me think of my answer a little bit. You guys can say who you would put in for penalties. I'm trying to think like who would still be on the pitch after 120 minutes. Jorginho, Aspie, Mace. I don't like. I feel like CH might be able to have a good penalty as well if he's on the pitch. Really, any of our attackers like Kai. I don't know. I'm really freaking nervous. Phantom says Diaz is very confident. Yeah, I think he could probably score a penalty. Giroud also. Yeah, we can make 5 subs in the final, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make 5 subs, so that's going to be absolutely massive. I love that 5 sub rule, like having a big team. Low key love it. Guys, do you have, I feel like we have covered a lot in this already, but do you guys have any more questions that you want us to answer? Like, honestly, I am so nervous. I'm having difficulty thinking of questions right now because my heart is racing so freaking bad. I don't even want to know what I'm going to be like because, like, for the Real Madrid game, the second leg, I could not sleep the night before and I had to work that day and I was so nervous and I couldn't eat or do anything. And that was for the semifinals. So I can't even imagine how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I'm trying to not think about it too much. Oh, this is a good question. Jay says, where do you think the game will be won and lost? Conn, I'll let you take it first.
Whichever teams, I think in the final third, and how clinical each team is. I think both teams are going to get chances, and I think it just comes down to who's the more clinical.
Man City are so freaking clinical. I hate it.
See, people think that, but sometimes they can be really inefficient.
Really?
Against Leeds and United, I think they had 20 plus shots and they lost both games. I don't know if I'm just trying to force myself to believe things to make me more confident, but I'm literally clinging on to anything I can right now.
I feel you. Yeah, I definitely agree about being clinical because I feel like Chelsea have had so many opportunities recently where we've had, especially against Arsenal, against Villa, that we've just had all of the ball. We create a lot of chances, but for some reason we just don't put those chances away. And it's like, how are you missing this? There's just not a lot of composure in front of goal right now. So I think that that's probably the main thing because I think both teams have a really strong defense. Like Ruben Diaz was voted, I think, the player of the season. Chelsea's defense is also really good. The other thing I will say is that I feel like recently Chelsea have lost, there have been a lot of individual errors, but it's not been the same individual, if that makes sense. I feel like it's just been kind of all over the place, like the Jorginho back pass versus Arsenal, Kovacic getting dispossessed against some team, I don't remember. So each player, you cannot have a concentration lapse like that in the Champions League final. It cannot happen. So I think that's going to be a big one as well. Michael asks, why are you both not in Porto? I freaking wish that I was, but I couldn't get tickets, guys. I'm not that important. I don't know how to get tickets to a Champions League final. I was low-key thinking about going because Madrid is a 5-6 hour drive to Porto. But I was I don't want to just go and not be able to go in the stadium. I would feel really sad. I don't know. Maybe one day. Amin asks, who's the most terrifying player in Man City? They have a lot, but who do you think, Conn?
The one I'm most scared of would probably be Mahrez. He's starting to get a knack for scoring in big games. We saw it against PSG. We've seen it for Algeria. He scares me. I feel like he could be a player to score for City tomorrow. He scares me a lot more than Foden does. 100%.
I just feel like they have so many talented players. For some reason, Kevin De Bruyne will always show up against Chelsea. Every single time he will show up as well. Ruben Diaz scares me a lot. Ederson scares me because I feel like he's a great goalkeeper. And so we're going to have to be super, super clinical with our chances as well. Just a couple more questions. So Chad asked something really interesting. He said, will we sub Kevin for penalties? He has a better record than Mendy. And I feel like the thing with Mendy seems to like always go the same way, and I haven't really felt like he's saved many penalties except the Aguero one, where he literally was still going down, but then he realized that he could just stand up and stop it because it was just a really badly taken penalty. So would you make that sub?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I kind of feel like if Mendy wants to be in goal for the Pens and he's really confident in himself, then let him have it because he's been outstanding for us this season.
Yeah.
So he probably deserves it. But if we got a sub left and you got good old Caballero sitting around still, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to think about penalties, to be honest. But
I know. I totally feel you.
if Tuchel wants to keep, Tuchel wants to keep Mendy in goal, I'll back it. If he wants to bring on Kepa, I'll back it. Like, I'm just going to sit there in silence.
I'm just gonna sit there like shitting myself because I can't take penalties. I would kind of be surprised if you like use one of your subs for a goalkeeper. But I don't know. I feel like at that point maybe like the players would be so freaking tired to like and it's just draining, but never say never, you know. You just never know what's going to happen. We have an interesting question here. Start one, bench one, leave one out. Werner, Abraham, and Giroud. Well, I think we could maybe change. I think that is quite straightforward with these players, but maybe we can change it. For me, it's start Werner, bench Giroud, and leave out Abraham because I don't think I don't know if Tammy's going to necessarily get game time, even though I love Tammy as a player and I don't agree with the way that he hasn't been getting game time. But for you, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner.
Oh, as much as I love Pully, I think against City you'd have to start Werner, bench Pully, and leave out Ziyech. Don't know if you heard me quietly there about benching Pully, but
oh my god, I'm trying to keep up with the chat, guys, but I really can't do it. Uni says Ziyech should start. He scored 2 goals against City. It's an interesting shot as well, but I don't know. I'm just really freaking nervous for this game. I think both sides have really good players, and I'm not liking that the media is making it so like City focused, that City have already won the Champions League. So I really freaking hope that Chelsea can upset them and get that win. So, Conn, if you had to have a score prediction for this game, what would it be?
oh gosh, it's just making it more real now. Score predictions, lineups.
I hate it.
I'm gonna back the team. I'm gonna go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. I don't know if
Oh my god, that's
deluded saying that, but 2-0 Chelsea win. You have to project these things.
I'm feeling. Yeah, you have what's the word? Manifest it. You have to manifest it. Yeah, thank you, Pogback. Yeah, I hope that we win it too, and thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. I have a lot of things for non-fans, like FPL when that's going. I'm a huge fan. I was really proud of myself. I finished in like the top 9%, not knowing how to play at the start of the season. So not too shabby, guys. But Conn, thanks so much for joining. I am just too nervous to talk about this anymore, and I don't know how I'm going to get through the game tomorrow. But let everybody know where they can find you.
Thanks for having me on, Elizabeth, and it's great to see how far your YouTube's coming along. I still remember you. I think was it like 500 followers on Twitter.
Yeah, you started following me like early.
Yeah, and I remember the first video, and now it's turned into this. So you're doing such a good job, and keep grinding. So good. And you've inspired a lot of, well, I know for a fact that you've inspired a lot of females on the platform. And yeah, what you're doing is just so good. So I'm proud, very proud. So.
I never know what I just like can't stop smiling, and then I never know what to say when people say these things to me. No, thank you so much. Honestly, like you were one of the first people that I followed on Chelsea Twitter like years ago. So it's super, super cool to have you on. And guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try to gather myself to do a match preview video as well. I think Eunice will probably be on tomorrow to chat. And yeah, I put Conn's Twitter in the description box. He has 90,000 followers, so you're probably already following him. But if you happen to not be, it's in the description. And Conn, thank you so much again for joining me. I really enjoyed our chat. And guys, like, I don't know, we can do it. We can do it. We can get this win. Positive vibes. I'm trying not to freak out. And yeah, I'll probably be posting a lot more videos, but yeah, until next time, I'm out.